not only me, I am supported by one of my colleague, Mr. Balaji. He is also another leather working group auditor, who is currently not here today because of his other additional work. And apart from that, we have almost 300 facilities certified by leather working group, who are all members of LWG. Leather working group is making good progress on the sustainability aspects. I can say today almost 2,100 facilities, companies are certified by leather working group, and more than 600 brands and retailers are members. The tanneries who are certified, they become a member of leather working group, and the brands and retailers and some of the suppliers, they become a subscription member to leather working group. And in the previous speaker spoke about the sustainability aspects. So the standards developed by leather working group, it is our international level. It is applicable to all the countries. And initially it started for the environmental aspects, but now it has been extended beyond the environmental to safety, health and safety, and traceability, chemical management, and also the housekeeping in production facilities. I've been working for this environment-related aspects of the leather industry for last 25 years. So my focus today will be on the sustainability. Also the previous speakers spoke about it. The brands and the consumers, they require products which are sustainably produced and socially acceptable factories. I wanted to say one survey conducted in Germany. It was conducted, about 2,000 public participated. They showed a shoe, and then the basic price of the shoe is, it was 98 euros. And then if the same shoe is supplied from environmentally friendly tannery process and socially acceptable factories, how much the consumer would like to pay. So the consumer, the average price was 143 euros, from 98 to 143 euros. And the same shoe with the same people, if the leather is produced from traceable materials, you can find out the factory which has been produced the shoe, and where the leather is produced, and where the leather is sourced, the origin of the material. So if all these are possible, the consumer is willing to pay to 168 euros for the same shoe. That is the level of awareness among the consumers in the European continent. So why I am saying this, the consumers, the buyers do not require only the product with the quality and price and the delivery time. So the buyers, the consumers are requiring much more. The product should be produced in environmentally acceptable factories and socially acceptable factories. This is what the consumers are looking at. So some of the newer requirements, if you see, already Mr. Jalan sir mentioned about it. Consumers are asking for carbon footprint. Their buyers are asking the tanneries now, what is the carbon footprint of your leather per square meter? Already it is happening, and our industry is somehow calculating. That is one of the requirement. And then the consumers are also asking for the traceability requirement, where the leather is produced and where the animal origin is there. And some of the customers even ask from the farm level, from the farm level traceability, consumers are asking. This is the additional requirement. And not only that, even the companies are coming more. Some of the new requirements is the life cycle aspects of the leather. That is also the consumers are asking. Many companies are going forward it. They are employing different agencies to find out the life cycle aspects, the results of life cycle of the product. So these are the newer requirements which the industry is moving forward. So if we want to see the future of the leather and the footwear, we need to align our directions to these new requirements. And mostly these are all voluntary requirements. Apart from voluntary requirements, there are also some newer regulations are coming up in Europe. I'm talking Europe mostly because most of the leather products from here is ending up in European continent. So I'm focusing on Europe now. So one of the new requirement which has been coming next year would be the deforestation regulation. Many of us know about it. This has been extended for 1 year. But now, what I wanted to say here, in India, there is no deforestation, but we have afforestation. According to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, India has increased the forest cover by 12% in the last 30 years. So this is the very important point which the industry need to convey to our customers, our buyers, that leather from India, traceable leather from India, can be safely mentioned as deforestation-free leather. So our directions is not only making our production process, but we also needs the information sharing or the communication to the customers. This is an important topic. There is also, I wanted to say two other regulations which are coming up in the future, in the near future. One is the sustainability reporting. Saket also mentioned about it. This has been already there. It is not coming up, it's already has come. The first reporting is going to come next year. So the reporting period will be 2024. The 2024 sustainability results of the large companies, listed companies, have to declare it from their side. So for them to declare, we need to provide because we are the manufacturers, so we need to provide the sustainability factors, what has been taken and what we are going to take. So this needs to be conveyed to our customers. And this is already for that reason only the companies are now asking for life cycle data, carbon data. So these are the things are already happening. So our industry need to be aligned on this. And this is a part of the larger regulation coming up Europe, which is called the European Green Deal. There are several regulations under European Green Deal. One is that sustainable reporting, and I wanted to take another one important to us, which currently not applicable, but in the future it may be extended to the leather and footwear sector, which is called Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, CBAM. The European continent want to be the forerunner in the carbon emission and global warming area. So what they are proposing to impose a carbon price for the products manufactured in India. So when the carbon price is introduced for the products in India, in Europe, it is likely that products manufactured outside the European continent will not have that carbon price. So there could be carbon leakage. That means the products may be manufactured outside EU and which is coming inside the European market. So for the products manufactured outside also, there will be a carbon price that is called the CBAM provides. So currently it is not applicable for leather products, but it is likely to be extended to textile, or if it is extended to textiles, then footwear could be part of it. So these are the new regulations which are coming up. And why I'm saying this, we need to align our practices, our production methods to these regulations. And not only that, there are two other directives which are in the discussion, which is the Green Claim Directive and Greenwashing Directive. So this talks about the companies, if they want to make a claim on this is an environmentally friendly leather, so there needs to be the manufacturer or the operator who is selling this product in Europe has to justify for these green claims. So unless our industry is aligned to these requirements, then the future could be a threat. So these are some of the points which I wanted to convey to you for this in this forum. And also this leather working group is interested in participating in these activities. There is not much of the participation from the industry side to the leather working group. In the last week, LWG has mentioned that they are open for the participation, comments, ideas, and new methods from Indian industry, and they are willing to undertake this. So with these words, I thank Director CLRI and the organizers for giving the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Sir, with the permission of Additional Secretary, may I, sir, if you allow that, I see my Vice Chairman, Mr. Ramesh Juneja, has joined online, so would like to give him an opportunity and listen to him, sir.
Thank you very much. Sure.
Okay. Ramesh ji, are you online?
Yes, I'm online.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Rajiv Thakur ji, IS, that Jalan Chairman, Tejas, that CSIR-CLRI, and Mr. Salwan from Executive Director, government officials, and from the industry, very important to all. I take this opportunity to congratulate the team of CSIR-CLRI for their contribution to the growth and development of the leather sector. Last financial year, the leather sector is...
Sir, there is a lot of echo. There is a lot of echo, I think, in from wherever you are talking.
Yeah? Hello?
Yes. Go ahead, sir, go ahead.
Yes. The growth of leather sector has been hit due to various geopolitical reasons, and we are hopeful that the industry will show strong recovery once the situation stabilizes. Our exports have gone down by 0.21% last year, but this year we recover and we will have the growth. Our industry will have the growth rate. The industry is also starting to move to develop indigenous brands from the current manufacturing model. This will lead from the growth of the sector. The industry is also enhancing investments towards modernization and capacity due to optimistic of strong growth in the next 4 years. Trying business export, the industry is highly optimistic about the growth outlook of the domestic footwear industry. The estimated turnover of the domestic footwear on $12 billion, with the increase in population and rise of disposable incomes, the capacity. Some of the players, manufacturing units in the country to cater to the pricing. I would also like to mention that consumer versus witnessing some change, and we are witnessing the rise of yes, but we are getting the what and the combination of other materials and both the wood and fashion activities also trying to cope up the choices. Accordingly, we are putting portfolio. I would appeal to the scientists here look into the aspect. That the CSIR-CLRI is organizing this year's annual leather research government landing Conclave 2024. I'm sure that the two-day programs will provide valuable inputs towards the technological advancements, research and development, which will help in formulating the draft letter policy for the leather and leather footwear sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Rameshji. Sir, with your permission, I have got also one more panelist, Mr. Jahan, here next to me. If you, sir.
Sure.
Thakur, sir.
Please go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I,
sure.
Because I think you have a limited time, so we'll just listen to him and then we will take it forward. Okay, sir? Sir?
Sure. Please
okay, thank you, sir.
Respected Sri Raju Singh Thakurji, Additional Secretary, DPP, IIT, our Chairman Rajendra Kumar Jalanji, and members of CLRI faculties. It's an honor for me to be here. We can take in the future of future of leather and footwear industry. We have two things. First, it's an export, and secondly, a domestic sales. For the first export, sir, nowadays all the clients, all the buyers from Europe and also from America are expecting a traceability of their raw material. They wanted all the raw material to be traced from the origin. So India unfortunately doesn't have a farmhouse sort of a thing where you can trace the animals. So to cope up with this, we have come out, IFILMIA, Indian Finished Leather Export Manufacturing Association, has come out with a software which can help and solve this problem. The portal name is called GeoTrace. This GeoTrace allows the tanners to finished product manufacturer to trace the material and put it in a platform where it can be traced and given to the customers also. For example, a tanner will not be a finished product manufacturer. The link is missing. It is a manual work which is very hard to certify that this product is coming from this particular animal. So we have come with as a solution, we have come with a GeoTrace, a portal which can help them resolve this problem and trace the material back from the which area. This is linked with the GST billing from the raw to the finished product. So this is we are working on this and we are improving on the portal, sir. And second point, EUDR. EUDR is a European Union deforestation regulation. This is going to be a little problematic subject for us because the traceability has to be addressed in accordance with the EUDR. Because today, India, we cannot say, we don't have a tool to say that this material is not coming from so-and-so area which is not deforested. So this GeoTrace can help also, we can include GeoTrace in accordance to the European Union, we can help this, we can take this GeoTrace to the address also the EUDR regulation. Luckily for us, it has been deferred for 1 year. We can work on this and we can do this. For the local domestic industries, as an industry, we would like to we wanted CLRI to help us in recognizing the product which is going into the market as shoes or bag to be having a leather mark so that the consumer knows this is a leather product. because lot of synthetics are coming in, and the consumer as such doesn't know what is leather and it's not leather. So we need to find, we need a CLRI's help to identify and sell this as a leather mark. They can provide with a leather mark for the product which is coming out of leather in the domestic market. This will help the industry, sir. So this is the request what the finished leather manufacturer is putting forth with you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you, Mr. Jahan. Sir, just to add what Mr. Jahan has said, as far as the leather mark is concerned, yesterday in our research council meeting, we have decided that CLRI is going to introduce immediately a leather mark in our country. And that would be an improvisation of what LWG Leather Working Group is doing. So that will be our indigenous leather mark. Initially, this will only identify whether it is a leather or a non-leather, and we will have a QR code also, sir. So that will say that what kind of a processing it has gone through. So this is in place. And also when we talk about sustainability, the scientists here at CLRI are not only working only on leather, but also on the non-leather products. All the non-leather products will also come under the ambit of the sustainability. Maybe initially the life cycle may be more, but still we will have this sorted out. So the non-leather production coming out of India is also sustainable. So with these words, sir, I hand it over to you for your remarks, sir, to Additional Secretary, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jalan and all the panelists for very insightful remarks. And you're right that sustainability and other issues, especially related to this continuing with our zero discharge thing and zero traceability and whatever we are using, not zero traceability might be the wrong word, but the traceability of the inputs and raw materials so that our buyers are satisfied globally that what we are using. Also domestically now awareness is increasing. So even our domestic consumers are becoming conscious and maybe they are willing to pay more also. So that's a very good suggestion. Also this matter of EUDR is now under discussion for long. And I think we need to approach such measures which are credible and which give confidence to our buyers, especially when we talk about our exports of leather. Also, leather mark, the CLRI is now preparing to do. I would request them to also be in touch with BIS, which is Bureau of Indian Standards. Obviously, at this moment, we are not thinking about any standards, but since BIS also has a lot of experience, so maybe they can assist us in determining the measures to be taken to ascertain whether the product is leather or non-leather. So you can have a look at that. Also, on the leather mark, I have to say that shouldn't add to compliance burden. So you should be watchful of this. So maybe industry itself is coming up with this idea of leather mark, but you should yourself not fall into the trap and tie yourself in a situation where in future you think that you may confront a situation where another compliance is there in terms of leather mark. So you have to be watchful on that. But I agree with this that if you are happy with this idea and more credibility it gives to the leather exports, it's a welcome idea, and gradually, as you're saying, non-leather products can also be. Another topic on which much discussion was not there today because I didn't mention it earlier is that I think briefly Chairman Siri mentioned, Mr. Jalan, about a proposed national policy for leather and non-leather footwear. So more or less we've created a draft. Now the consultation process will start. So I would request all of you to give your comments very critically and liberally so that based on the experience of various states like Tamil Nadu, Bihar and other states which have brought their leather footwear policy, now we want to do national level framework so that all the states and UTs can benefit and our domestic consumption and exports can increase. So it will shortly come into the public domain. I request all of you to give your inputs because as all of us are talking that there is a huge potential for exports but we are not able to achieve. So we are trying to bring some policy interventions so that with the help of all the stakeholders, so that the sector benefits. So I would stop here at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. And we definitely will take, sir, this leather policy thing, national leather policy thing forward. Once this is in the public domain, we have already, you have done a lot of consultation on this subject. And sir, one good news, as director is not here, he shared with me this morning, Director CLRI, he got a call from Shobha Builders out of UAE this morning, and they wanted to recruit. They are very big builders. They are making some buildings or some apartments here in the south, but they are very big in the Gulf area. So now what they want, that they are going to give them the furnished apartments, and that too with the furniture. And also CLRI has developed a technology where they can have a leather kind of a wallpaper. So they called CLRI director to recruit some students from here, and they have already recruited somebody from ARS Sotoria, that is Italian Institute, to make furnitures in Thailand and get the leathers from India. So, sir, lot is happening, and on the export front, after a long time, the first 6 months results are little bit in the positive side. We are only 0.14% up, but we are up, sir. So the trend is getting better, and we will definitely take it forward. We'll do everything possible. The industry is committed to take the business forward. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We thank the speakers for joining online and offline with us for the insightful contributions and perspectives. May I request Dr. P. Thanigaivelan, Chief Scientist at CSIR-CLRI, to thank the speakers and summarize the session, please.
Good morning to all the panel members and the chairman of the session, Mr. Thakur, Additional Secretary, DPIIT. And it is my pleasure to summarize the outcome of this session on behalf of our director. The future of leather and footwear sector is this session, and the panel members already provided their inputs. In a way, our ambitious target of more than $40 billion by another 25 years target. It is very ambitious, and I believe the efforts made through the government, through IFLADP scheme, where generous funding is offered for the tanners to increase their production capacity, and the upgradation of technology, upgradation of CETPs, and also coupled with training and including the institutional facility improvement. So we would be able to cater the needs of the achieving this target. And in terms of R&D, from our institute side, we are already working towards the R&D needs of both leather as well as non-leather sectors, sir. Some of these points already shared by our Jalan sir already, but still I would like to put forward some more points. As Mr. Jahan said, there is an effort to put up the traceability through some kind of a software where it can be utilized by tanners to integrate their data. So we are also working towards, in terms of the carbon footprint calculations, where we successfully now developed the software, and very soon it will be rolled out. And we already taken some 2-3 samples of data from different tanneries, and then we are evaluating and validating to find out the carbon footprint. And of course, that will be the future, because most of the brands already demanding about the carbon footprint calculation to inbuilt, so that whether are we going towards at least carbon neutral. So that is the demand, and we hope another few months' time, we should be able to roll out that software so that it will be benefiting to the tanners. And another aspect of the future in terms of sustainability is the water usage and wastewater treatment. In terms of water reduction, we already developed some few technologies for tanning, like chrome tanning, and also now we are looking at developing the low water system, specifically in the case of the pre-tanning, that is liming, and also in the case of post-tanning, we are working on it. And again, that will be the demand for the future to make the industry sustainable. And in terms of solid waste utilization, again, we are working very close with industry. And recently, we have been able to successfully give technologies for utilization of chrome shavings. And another technology recently we have rolled out is taking the buffing dust or the vegetable tan waste also, and then converting into yarn. And then we are blending with cotton and then making it as a fabric. So those kind of technologies also will solve the problems of solid waste. And with these, definitely we can account for the positive carbon rather than the negative carbon. So that is most of the R&D efforts from the CSIR-CLRI. And with reference to footwear sector, we knew that the leather is only a part of the overall the export and the local domestic usage. And more than 80% is the non-leather. So now the institute is focusing more on non-leather footwear area as well. And we initiated a couple of projects. Possibly we will discuss in the next session where it is focusing on non-leather footwear materials. So with these summary, I thank all the panel members for coming from different area, from regulatory and the industry side and the association side, and further our government sector, that is DPIIT. We thank all the panel members for contributing to this session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, very quickly, sir, before you leave, I want to take your permission. We want to open the floor for the discussions, but you can leave, sir, because you have allowed us only 1 hour. Okay. So with your permission, just want to leave the floor open for any question answers. Okay.
Sure, please.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So now the floor is open. Shakila, you can just take it.
Yeah. Any questions for the panelists?
Good morning. My name is Chandrasekharan. This is more an observation and certain kind of additional inputs. All along, as a sector, all along, we, though as a sector, we are looking towards export, and many often, at least say 10 or 15 years before, we probably fail to recognize there is an equal opportunity at the domestic as well. Right now, of course, now we have been awakened about that, because when we look at the employability and so many other aspects of social aspects for the sector, we cannot forget the domestic sector as well, which is equally important in terms of volume-wise and other things. Apart from that, in the last 10 years, we are now trying to give more focus towards other materials as well. In fact, many of the panelists for the years now in the recent past have been talking about leather is one of the material, and we are definitely looking towards that. Of course, the future is going to be for all the materials put together, whether it is textiles or woven or non-woven, any of those materials. Not to forget here, there is also an equally important aspect of we cannot afford to miss now the whole lifestyle accessories. In fact, our chairman for CLE was mentioning about the builder coming here and trying to look at certain things. In fact, we must expand now. The sector has to look to integrate ourselves, the leather and the other components part of it, to lifestyle and accessories sector. In fact, if you really want to integrate this, then it's becoming a much larger gambit in which, we cannot work in isolation. Probably we may have to look at the holistically, the lifestyle accessories and how that sector moves, and we should probably align towards that so that we don't miss and we don't repeat what we did, say, 10 or 15 years back. And that is what I thought I would like to mention about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. I think you are absolutely right. That's the guidance to the industry. But I must share with you, there is a GTRI report, Global Trade Research Initiative, which is a Georgia Tech forum on the 7th of January 2024, which says in India, at this time, 75%, I'm talking footwear, 75% of the footwear is of leather, means what's being used, and 25% is non-leather. And what they are saying by 2030, this whole thing is going to reverse. 75% will be non-leather and 25% will be leather, only leather. So that's a big difference, and they have given a lot of reasons. I'm not going to elaborate on the reasons at this point, but you are absolutely right, and that's the reason. If you will see, when you were the director of the CLRI, we were only talking about leather, and you were there yesterday. We were talking about everything, but very little about the leather. So we are definitely concentrating on the lifestyle products and non-leather. The reason I know in saddlery, now only 30% of the saddlery is leather. 60-70% is all non-leather. In the footwear also, though whatever the joint ventures are coming in this state, they are all non-leather. There is nothing leather. So this is, the whole perception has changed. Though this gentleman, whom director was mentioning this morning, he said he is going to only concentrate on leather. But that's good. At least somebody is working on leather. But, people at large will use non-leather because of various reasons and because of various designs which has come. We need to work a lot towards the design area also. We have to make our leather shoes or bags or lifestyle products more affordable and more comfortable. So that's one of all the inventions and all the research has to be also cost effective. So we are in line with, as an industry, I can tell you that we are in line what you are saying, sir. Thank you.
My name is Chandramouli. I'm retired from CLRI. I hope I am audible. I'm happy that this particular session is focused on futurology. Once we say futurology, it must be a wide open area. As long as we survive, we need the animals. As long as animals are there, we consume milk and meat. As long as the meat and milk are consumed, meat and meats are consumed, then we get hides and skins. Why we should think of only hides and skins for the use of leather? Why not we think of hides and skins for various other purposes, like a biological material, number of biological applications, probably through research possible. So why should we confine our thinking only hides and skins are suitable only for converting into leather and leather products? Because the leather is under stress. There is a lot of pressure in the leather sector. As you said rightly, the leather consumption is likely to go down. I think it is a time that probably CLRI and other research organizations should think of what else we can think of, what products that we could make from the hides and skins, excellent natural materials, excellent biological materials. In the same way, why should we confine ourselves that leather is only suitable for known uses of footwear, leather goods and garments? Why not we think of leather, identifying the leather for various other uses? I think these are the areas we need to focus for the future research. Thank you.
Sir, already for the protein leather, the second leathers, we are working on protein for intake. So it's a protein material, which leather is not suitable for the footwear due to selection and the quality of the material. It is going for some protein intakes and also for feed industries. And second point, leather, sir, unfortunately, this demand and supply cannot match. It's a natural product, it's a byproduct, first of all. You want all the shoes to be made in leather, you are not going to get that much of leather. The rise in population, the demand, so it's not going to match. So leather industry is going to go according to supply and demand ratio only. It is not going to have, you cannot have 2 lakh pieces immediately, means you cannot have. Available 1 lakh means it's 1 lakh pieces only. So demand supply will not match. So synthetic will be there, will have to fill the gaps. That is how we are looking into it, sir. We are also improving our technologies, lot of technologies. Being a sustainable material, the best sustainable material is leather. It's a natural material, natural fiber. You look into that at that point. And we are also working, sir, as an industry, we are also working for the other things. From shaving waste, we are trying to make protein syntans for utilizing in leather itself, or it can also be converted into a edible thing in the future. We are already, CLRI is also, we had a talk with Mr. Arvindan last time. We are also trying to find out some solutions on that.
I think that probably answers, and I have been told also what, just to add what he has said, that now raw hides are being exported to Cambodia and Thailand only for the medicinal purposes, like what he has suggested. And we also, a lot of pet products are being made now of the leather. You know, it's not only going for the footwear or bags or things, but a lot of pet products. It's become a very big business. The pet products have become a very big business. So, and I think I was in the presentations yesterday of the RC. I think CLRI is doing a good job towards taking out the collagen from the hides and converting it into some commercial products, sir. So you are right, sir. We have to look at some other areas also, and as the leather consumption goes down, and he has rightly pointed out that we are working a lot towards different avenues. Thank you. Anything else, sir?
Sir, this is Swarnalata from CLRI. Sir, my question is for Mr. Vishwanathan. Sir, you were talking about how the sustainability measures they are taking for the European Union. So can you throw some insights on the CBAM, that is you are talking about the carbon-based mechanism adjustment, carbon border adjustment mechanism. So how it will be that the trade tool will be operated, or any insights you can give on that?
Thank you for asking this question. As I mentioned, at the moment, the carbon border adjustment mechanism is not applicable for leather sector. It is available for only the high energy intensive industrial sectors like cement, fertilizer, chemicals, and also import of electricity into European Union, plus 1 or 2 other sectors also. How this will be, how they will, at the moment, this mechanism is under the transition period. So these industrial sectors, they need to, on an annual basis, they need to upload their information. So much is the carbon emission in their operations. And for that, they will have to buy the certificate. That means they need, that is equal to, that is what called as the carbon price. So they have to pay the carbon price to get the certificate. If the same product is imported from other countries, so they need to buy this certificate from this, which is already available. Equivalent amount of certificate they need to buy. And the buying amount is the carbon price. So this is mainly to avoid the carbon leakage from the European Union. For example, if the European Union says that this is the carbon price for this product, and then it is likely that the production may be done in the other countries, and then comes to European market. So in that case, what happens? The carbon is leaking in the other countries. So the European Union wants to be the forerunner, and then impose this carbon price. At the moment, this is still in the transition. This will come into effect from 2026. It is already in effect. From 24 to 25 will be the transition period. So there is no price at the moment, but these sectors have to upload their or upload their emissions and get the certificates. So basically, in broad line, this is how it's working. It's still not to textile or leather sector. The expectation that if the textile is included, it may extend to the leather footwear sector also. I hope I answered. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Sunil. Today I joined here in CLRI for executive program in leather goods and manufacturing. So just giving a background, like I have worked in IT industry more than 14 years, starting from TCS, ATS, Wipro, and Dell, Flipkart, InMobi. As an engineering manager, just like 6 months back, I took a career break and wanted to explore the like leather goods. But I found one thing, there is a huge gap because India is exporting right now around 5 billions of the raw hide, whereas 90% of the leather shoes and everything was consumed by India itself. I totally agree with Mr. Jalan sir, like we need 1.4 billions of pair of shoes and everything. But do we really know whether we are really creating for the domestic product as well as the traceability? Even though right now I'm wearing a belt which doesn't have anything information, we do lack like Wikipedia. Most of the information over the internet about the leathers, all from the US or the UK or like mostly Spain. So those information will be written by them itself. We understand that, okay, right now we are developing, but right now the thing is mostly we wanted to do like some of guys like entrepreneur, like young entrepreneur if comes, like I have seen that in IT when the young entrepreneur joined, they're giving the competition Google's, Microsoft or the other guys. So what we have planned for the young entrepreneur to join leather industry and doing all those stuffs, because I have seen that leather is like generation of generation, like it's a ancestor wise like an industry. Thank you, sir.
Please.
Thank you.
No, that's, to be honest, you are right. We are exporting only 5 billion. We have been exporting around 6.5 10 years back. It has come down. But it is not true that we are not looking at the domestic area. Means domestic is the future. That is for sure. As far as the startups are concerned, there is a Government of India policy for the startups, and it is also open to leather industry. We at Council for Leather Exports, we want to promote the startups. We even want to nominate. We have nominated one person and we want to nominate more people, more startups, if you have a little exports, into our board, so that you are fully aware that how this industry is being run. We are also running a mentoring program where we can mentor the startups on an individual basis, on a collective basis. And Footwear Design Development Institute as well as CLRI, I will talk to Director CLRI also. They can definitely help you in mentoring. So this is, to be honest with you, I came from a different field 50 years back, but I came here for the basic training of the leather. So this is what it is, and I would only say welcome to the industry. So you will be definitely taken care of. There is no doubt about it, I think. And as far as your question that we don't get much information on the internet, because we have been contract manufacturers for last 45, 50 years. Now we are working on our own brands. Once you have the brands, your own brand, there will be a lot of information on the internet about us. So this probably answers to a certain extent your question, okay?
Yes, sir, definitely, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
There is one last question we can take if there is one, okay?
We would like to thank the speakers again and the audience for the interactive session. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, all these sessions have been thoughtfully curated, and we would also like to inform you that the upcoming discussion on the topic R&D needs on non-leather footwear materials is there, and we also expect your continued presence, and we would like to break for tea, and we'll also be presenting a memento to our speakers right now. May I request Dr. B. Chandrasekharan, former Director of CSIR-CLRI and present Distinguished Scientist of CSIR-CLRI, to present the memento, please. Thank you, sir. And may I request Dr. B. Chandrasekharan to present the memento to R.K. Jalan, sir, please. May I request sir to present the memento to Shri M. Jahan, sir, please. And sir, may I request sir to present the memento to Shri Saket Kulkarni. And to Shri M. Vishwanathan, sir, please. Thank you, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, as I said, your continued presence is appreciated. We'll break for tea, and we are looking forward to meet you at 12 p.m. for the next session. Thank you so much.
Hello?
Council for Scientific and Industrial Research has been relentlessly strengthening the backbone of this great nation with its trailblazing endeavors. In adherence to its self-defined maxim, CSIR established the Central Leather Research Institute at Chennai in 1948 to serve as the core research wing to explore newer avenues in leather production, leather chemicals, and allied areas to ensure India's self-reliance in the said industry. Under the guidance of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, the 1 week, 1 lab campaign will bring this efficient institute to spotlight, which reincarnated an environmentally unfriendly sector to a sustainable and socio-economically viable industry. 75 years account for countless glorious milestones surpassed by CLRI. Starting from an inventory of 800 lakh rupees worth raw hides, an export of semi-finished leather export in 1944 to 45, India has become a $5 billion exporter of finished leather products in 2022 to 2023, thanks to CLRI's sublime efforts.
Having been with the industry for 75 years, providing them the manpower that is required, providing them the technology that is required, this industry is today an environmentally viable, bearable organization. CSIR Central Leather Research Institute, in the name of the 1 week, 1 lab program, celebrates the success of Indian leather. We are joined by the industry in this entire activity.
CSIR-CLRI has collaborated with Anna University.
இப்போ இருந்து எடுத்துப்பாங்க பாருங்க. சரிதான், இப்போ நீங்கள் ஓட்டுறது இப்படி தான் ஓட்டணும். நான் என்ன ஓட்டணும்?
Council for Scientific and Industrial Research has been relentlessly strengthening the backbone of this great nation with its trailblazing endeavors. In adherence to its self-defined maxim, CSIR established the Central Leather Research Institute at Chennai in 1948 to serve as the core research wing to explore newer avenues in leather production, leather chemicals, and allied areas to ensure India's self-reliance in the said industry. Under the guidance of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, the 1 Week, 1 Lab campaign will bring this efficient institute to spotlight, which reincarnated an environmentally unfriendly sector to a sustainable and socio-economically viable industry. 75 years account for countless glorious milestones surpassed by CLRI. Starting from an inventory of 800 lakh rupees worth raw hides, an export of semi-finished leather export in 1944 to 45, India has become a $5 billion exporter of finished leather products in 2022 to 2023, thanks to CLRI's sublime efforts.
Having been with the industry for 75 years, providing them the manpower that is required, providing them the technology that is required, this industry is today an environmentally viable, bearable organization. CSIR Central Leather Research Institute, in the name of the 1 Week, 1 Lab program, celebrates the success of Indian leather. We are joined by the industry in this entire activity.
CSIR-CLRI has collaborated with Anna University to offer graduate and postgraduate courses for students, aspiring students who want to pursue careers in leather technology and footwear science. CLRI has been offering various diploma programs with high placement assurance to shape up the nation's future by supplying skilled manpower to perfection. In 1958, the institute established a unique demo effluent treatment plant, ETP, in a tannery. CLRI also enabled the industrial transition from export of raw hides to finished products by innovating indigenous chemical manufacturing processes. The institute has truly spearheaded the Academy Research Industry Trinity partnership in myriad ways. In 1988, it escalated itself as a futurology leather workshop to usher in modernization of the sector. Be it the zero liquid discharge in Tamil Nadu or going for a paradigm shift from chemical to bioprocessed leather, 2008 was indeed a promising year for CLRI.
In leather manufacturing process, unhairing is one of the unit operations where hair is removed using the chemicals. This hair is not degradable. In CSIR-CLRI, we have developed a bioprocess for degradation of this hair waste to convert them into value-added products. 2 products have been developed. One is organic compost and other one is organic supplement.
Countless pioneering steps followed over the years. Proper compliance with waste management, sustainable leather production, augmentation of the technology readiness levels, nurturing the Kolhapuri couture, initiation of leather technology mission, and setting up footprints in Africa remain some distinct laurels in CLRI's crown. CLRI has not only served the economic interests of the nation, but has also left its social contributions. Its Do Ecology solutions across 720 tanneries in Tamil Nadu averted a serious crisis in the leather sector. It constantly supported the employment mission envisaged by the nation over the years. CLRI has truly been a game changer in the sector owing to the supreme know-how it always provided. It has a vibrant array of technological expertise in the form of collagen-based products, diabetic footwear, regenerated leather, electrocatalytic oxidation, chemo-activated carbon oxidation, phenton-activated carbon catalytic oxidation that add up to its envious credential. Waterless chrome tanning technology, dry tan technology, electro-oxidation-based zero-waste water discharge technology, gloves for extreme cold climatic conditions, leather-like materials, organic compost, and supplement from animal hair wastes, role of collagen in extracellular matrix dynamics and interaction with ECM proteins, biofabricated leather, and the technologies towards sustainability have been the feats of the Institute. CLRI enjoys a pride of place in its massive contribution for the Skill India program by devising special modules of training in association with National Scheduled Castes Finance and Development Corporation and Leather Sector Skill Council. It keeps on working with different state agencies and leather cooperative societies for upgrading the vocational curriculum for this promising sector. The list is endless.
We at CSIR-CLRI are developing chemicals which are addressing the needs of the strategic sector as well. For instance, we are now involved in making gloves which will be used by the Indian Army at the Siachen Glacier. These gloves are currently being imported, which our Prime Minister wants to be made indigenously to address the Atmanirbharta.
In microbiology division, we are involving in microbial research, especially isolation of new microbes for secondary metabolite and especially for the enzymes for leather processing and also for the drug development activities. Here we are testing leathers, leather products as well as the wet blue products for mold resistance or mold growth and bacterial contaminations, and we developed a very good point of contact device for contamination assessment for any microbial load present in the water.
This prestigious institute has left no stone unturned to ease the testing procedures besides analysis of hides, skins, intermittent
இப்போ
Welcome to KMS Plastworld, is a prominent manufacturer in India, a leading innovator in sustainable solutions that shape a transformative future. As KMS Plastworld Private Limited, we have emerged as a prominent solution provider in India, distinguished for our unwavering commitment to environmental stewardship and dedication to delivering cutting-edge products across various industries. We pride ourselves on our pioneering solutions that span a wide spectrum of applications, including material handling, industrial storage, waste management, cold chain logistics, commercial kitchen items, road safety, and more. Our comprehensive range in the building division caters to diverse construction and infrastructure needs. Overall, the limited manpower in the leather manufacturing process poses challenges in handling raw materials, maintaining quality control, meeting production demands, and ensuring timely order fulfillment. Implementing automation technologies and digital systems can help alleviate these difficulties by reducing manual labor requirements and optimizing resource allocation. Let's examine what mistakes to avoid and how to use our products in the leather industry. We have a solution for you. Wooden pallets are not recommended for leather industry because it may be compromised under the strain of heavy loads of leather, leading to potential breakage. This not only exacerbates the risk of protruding nails and splinters, but also poses a significant threat to both the quality of leather goods and the safety of workers involved in handling these pallets. Efficient measures are crucial to address these issues and enhance the overall safety and integrity of the leather industry supply chain. Wooden pallets in the leather industry face challenges due to heavy loads, exposure to chemicals, and environmental conditions. The weight of leather hides, coupled with exposure to tanning agents, contributes to pallet stress and potential breakage. Temperature variations and humidity, common in leather processing, further weaken the wood. Handling during transportation adds stress, especially in international trade. Exploring alternatives like plastic pallets may offer durability, reducing long-term costs, and enhancing the efficiency of the leather supply chain. Plastic pallets are recommended for leather industry. Compared to wooden pallets, plastic pallets offer a smoother and nail-free surface, reducing the likelihood of damage to leather products and streamlining handling procedures. This makes plastic pallets a more efficient and safer alternative for the transportation and storage of leather materials in the industry. Switching to plastic pallets in the leather industry tannery provides numerous advantages. Plastic pallets offer enhanced durability, resisting moisture and chemicals, ensuring a longer lifespan compared to traditional options. Their lightweight nature facilitates easier handling and transportation, reducing labor costs. Additionally, plastic pallets contribute to a cleaner and more sustainable environment as they are reusable and recyclable. This shift results in cost savings, operational efficiency, and environmental responsibility, making it a strategic choice for tanneries. Storing materials directly on floors in the leather industry not only poses environmental and safety risks, but also detracts from the tannery's professionalism. It creates a messy and disorganized appearance, undermining the facility's commitment to quality and environmental responsibility. Adopting proper storage practices is not just
Welcome back. And we'll be having the roundtable discussion on R&D needs on non-leather footwear materials. And we'll have the chairperson for this session is Shri V. Naushad, CEO of Walkaroo. And we have Shri Yogendra Singh from Bata Private Limited, Dr. N. Mohan from Kothari Industries Limited, Shri Manimaran from Fengte Group, and Shri Sahud from Jogger Shoes, and Shri M. James Matthew from Walkaroo Group, and Shri Sadiq Sir, former Chief Scientist at CSIR-CLRI, and Dr. P. Tanigavelan, Chief Scientist at CSIR-CLRI. May I request the chairperson and the panelists to grace the dais, please. Thank you, sir. May I request Shri V. Naushad, sir, to moderate the session, please.
Good morning. Jalan sir and my colleagues and all the guests and people from industry and the institute. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yesterday and today morning, we had a lot of discussion about this sector. As we all know, India has a lot of opportunity, but to utilize this opportunity, how much Indian industries and Indian institutes are ready. So when we travel outside, all the foreign business people are looking to India and preparing for India's future requirement. So we want to align the Indian researchers and Indian industries towards the customer requirement. So let us hear from the CLRI first. So what they are doing now and what they are planning to do. So first of all, I request Dr. Tanigavel to give the presentation.
Respected Chairman of the session, Mr. Naushad, and other esteemed panelists, and all the colleagues from CLRI, retired colleagues and students, and other industry members. Good afternoon to everyone. I would like to make a brief presentation on CSIR-CLRI's R&D efforts towards non-leather footwear and what efforts we are making in this area. So far, being a leather research institute, honestly speaking, we have not done much work on non-leather footwear, but then recently you might be knowing the overall usage, production of footwear globally and also in India, if you look at more than 50% is non-leather. And because of the availability of leather is limited, I think in the previous session, Mr. Jahan very clearly stated, it is primarily depending on the demand and supply. And if you want just 2 lakh pieces overnight, it is not at all possible. But the same thing, if you order a synthetic leather, within few days you will get it. Because it is highly automated, and the production capacities are far exceeding, specifically in China and other places. They are producing the non-leather materials like in very bulk or quantities. So, of course, there are other factors, the price, cost, the logistics, everything. And currently, this is what it is. And therefore, we thought CLRI also must do some research related to non-leather footwear. And that is where this presentation all about. So we have initiated some few projects on this area. One of the project is titled Design and Fabrication of Next-Gen Footwear Products, and which was started just last year. And here, the basic, the needs, if you try to look at the Indian leather manufacturers, non-leather footwear manufacturers, the current needs are very clear. There was a small study done by Mr. Dangi and Jain, which very clearly states there is a growing demand towards the sustainable and eco-friendly footwear materials, and that is the future. That includes, of course, the so-called vegan leather, vegan footwear, etc. And there is a growing preference among the youths towards the casual and athletic footwear. And this is primarily owing to the new millennial people changing lifestyles, etc. And of course, the fashion requirements. There is a great need towards the casual and athletic footwear. And of course, the third need of the industry, that is non-leather footwear, is the innovations in materials and designs, focusing more on either recycled plastics, because a lot of the major problem with the non-leather footwear is its short lifespan. The durability is less, and therefore there is a frequent throwaway of these used non-leather footwear. And therefore, if we are able to make a recycled approach to recover these plastics and then reuse, then that's another demand. And the second thing is the bio-based polymer usage. That is also a kind of a major need for the Indian non-leather footwear manufacturers. So I have given some 1 or 2 pictures related to this. I specifically tried to look at the Adidas products, which were very exciting to match these current needs of the non-leather footwear. One is the Adidas X Parley line, which is on the right side, which is made by using the recycled marine plastics. They try to take a lot of plastics in the marine, the sea, and then recover and then reuse it. The other one is the kind of a footwear which is named Futurecraft Loop, and that is fully recyclable, meaning whatever the time you use, either it is 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years, then you throw it off, it can be recyclable, and the Adidas is ready to take it back, and then completely it can be recycled. So these are the products already in the market, and definitely the Indian non-leather footwear industries must approach on these lines. So let me come to this particular project. With, if you try to look at the shoe parts, it comprises at least 40 to 50 materials, different materials, and in a single shoe. And if you look at suppose if it is a leather shoe, then even on a leather shoe, the non-leather materials comprise at least 60%. Suppose if it is a completely non-leather, 100%. Of course, if you have some metals, then if you exclude it, then you will have predominantly polymeric materials. And what are the various commonly used non-leather polymeric materials? Most of it, people already knew about it, the PU, PVC, rubber, and EVA. These are some of the materials, either used in the upper parts or in the sole or midsole. Most of these materials are used. So this project, we are trying to aim to import substitution primarily because most of these materials are imported from China and other countries. And there is no local manufacturing capacity for us to supply the demanded volumes by the industry. And we also lack certain technology related to these material preparation. And therefore, we are trying to develop some new materials which will try to address this import substitution, and also in the concept of indigenization, and in the concept of developing biodegradable materials. We are envisaged this particular project. And this project has 5 work packages concentrating on developing next generation footwear products by forecasting, designing, visualizing, and preparing the new chemicals and materials. Thereby, we can fabricate these next-gen footwear products. And one of the work packages, developing innovative polymeric materials as footwear components, focusing mainly on the performance of the footwear. The second one focuses on developing easily biodegradable materials as footwear components. And of course, we have other assisted packages like process innovation, design innovation, and quality and testing. And I would like to showcase some of the work what we have done so far in this area. So in terms of innovative polymeric materials for footwear components, we have looking at developing some shoe liner materials made up of some metal organic framework based materials coupled with some polymers, so that these shock liner has enhanced water absorption. Because the normal shock liners may not have that much water absorption, specifically the sweat. And here we are looking at using some aluminum-based materials, MOF, and integrating with PU, so that this can try to absorb the sweat very nicely and provides much better comfort to the wearer. One of the major drawbacks of non-leather footwear is that there is a claim that the breathability is less in comparison to leather-based footwear. So we try to address this using such shoe liner materials. The other one is the developing the insoles, which has certain shape memory capability, aiming to giving more comfort to the wearer. And here we try to look at the fundamental principles of making a polyurethane-based pre-polymer system using a set of diisocyanate and alcohol like glycols, and further integrating this with the other ethylene glycol cross-linking materials and providing some suitable catalyst. Therefore, thereby can we develop some spongy kind of a material which has very good shape memory effect. And we had some success, but still we need to work further to develop the final material. And this is another innovative material where we try to look at the making some composite of the sole material, where normally you have either polyurethane sole or you have a rubber sole, and both are having some extreme properties. One having like a somewhat little spongy kind of cushion effect, say in the case of PU, but in the case of rubber, mostly you have more solid matrix. So can we try to couple these rubber and polyurethane and make a kind of composite sole, midsole, or normal sole application? And that is where this work is envisaged, where we try to take the rubber and then hydroxylate it, and that hydroxyl groups in principle can react with the isocyanate and can provide a kind of a rubber PU composite material. And to enhance the performance further, we try to use certain nanoparticles made up of silica also. And the initial test gives some improvement in the tensile strength and tear strength, etc. And of course, the major requirement being abrasion resistance, that also has some improvement. But still, this needs to be further fine-tuned to get the final technology ready. And in terms of the easily biodegradable materials for footwear components, we try to look at developing different types of materials. Say, for example, the chitosan-based materials, which would have some hemostatic additive ability. And these foams, as given in here, you can see it is forming very nice porous structure. And this can be potentially used as an insole material even for diabetic or any wound healing kind of application also. It can be used. And we also try to look at developing biodegradable polyurethane system using castor oil as one of the natural components. And we successfully made lab scale study by developing a suitable polyol from the castor oil and reacting with isocyanate, forming the sustainable PU system. And further, we try to integrate couple with using the leather waste fibers and making it as a sustainable composite for, again, insole applications. And in the area of vegan leather, we try to make plant-based leather-like materials from variety of raw materials like rice straw, wheat straw, or mango pulp, etc. And initially, we made materials for lifestyle products like the bags, etc. Now, we are looking at developing materials with a high tensile strength beyond 6 megapascal for casual footwear applications. And this work is also now successfully completed, and we are validating at pilot scale. And once it is successful, then we will go for the casual shoe fabrication. And this particular technology is already transferred to several companies for lifestyle product applications. And I hope that in the near future, we will be able to transfer this to the footwear industry as well. And these are other efforts towards preparing the easily biodegradable materials. And in another approach, we try to make the bacterial cellulose-based film synthesized from the agro residues and the kombucha biomass. And then we further cross-linked and then made some matrix. And this, again, further needs to be evaluated for having a possible technology out of it. And in another approach, we try to look at using the PET bottle-based, recovered polyester fibers, and then coupled with the leather waste fibers, and then making it as a matrix for upper application. So that is also have some success, but still it needs to be validated further as a technology. And in yet another work, what we try to do, we try to do a recycle from the PU-coated PET fabrics. We took the waste PU-coated PET fabrics, and then we did some solvent extraction and alkaline hydrolysis procedure, and then we tried to recover the PET in the form of terephthalic acid. And we have successfully showcased that we would be able to recover up to 80 to 83% in this case. And this is another major breakthrough technology where we try to use the leather waste fibers, specifically the vegetable tanned leather waste fibers, and then mixing, blending with the natural fibers like cotton or bamboo or tencel, etc., and then making a hybrid yarn where 50% is the leather waste fiber, the remaining 50% could be either cotton or bamboo, etc. And we further made a fabric out of this yarn, and the fabric has, of course, the warp is completely cotton because of the strength and other requirements, whereas the weft is made out of this hybrid yarn. And this technology is recently transferred to the KGH exports. I hope they will be able to make some products out of it. And we also work on the snow boots, which is required for extreme climatic conditions, either for the common man or even for the soldiers, Indian soldiers working on this area. And we recently successfully made gloves for the strategic sector usage, and that technology is also transferred. Now we are focusing more on the other accessories like snow boots and other garments, etc. And here, this work, we just started, and we procured the sample prototype, which is imported, and we try to, kind of a decoding of this material, and we found what are the outer layer and other, the tongue, etc. And we already done the analysis, and also we try to look at the performance analysis of the existing material in terms of the cold insulation resistance, etc. Now, the work is progressing to source the materials indigenously and then developing the product. So very soon we will be having the prototype. And the another area what we are working is the developing the sports footwear with enhanced support. And here the idea is to look at, can we develop a common sports shoe which can be used for multiple sports activities like, say, basketball, volleyball, badminton, because that is one of the major requirements among the youth. And therefore, we thought, can we develop such the sports footwear? And the work done so far is to look at the existing sports shoe and then trying to understand what are the material composition and the characteristics, etc. And parallelly, we also tried to do a survey with the sports player to find out what is their requirements in terms of the existing sports shoe. And it turned out that there are three major drawbacks for the existing most of the sports shoes. Namely, the grip is not so much, then the durability is less, and there is a requirement for the ankle support, because when you try to do sports activities, the ankle bending is there, so the support is lacking. So these are the some of the survey results. So we are planning to choose proper raw materials and then design the sports shoes with these additional properties. So we also look at the development of therapeutic footwear for specific ailments like the knee osteoarthritis. And here the idea is to look at the patient's the knee pain, and then we try to look at the gait analysis and then try to find out where the pressure points. As you can see in the left side of the image, the barefoot, you can see that there is a very areas where it is colored green and red. That shows the pressure is more on that part. And when you wear a normal shoe without any modification, the pressure distribution is better, but it is still not perfect. And what we try to do, we try to do some modification in terms of using some inserts like wedge material made up of EVA foam, and then try to appropriately placing at the heel portion. And then again, we check the gait pattern, and now this helps in the distribution of pressure perfectly, and that helps to obviously will avoid this knee pain problem and osteoarthritis problem. And in terms of design innovation, I will not go into the details. My former colleague, Dr. Swadik, will speak about it, but just quickly to state that we have been working on this forecasting area for leather and also non-leather to some extent, and I hope he will throw more light on non-leather requirements, how that can be done. And we are also working to the design of virtual footwear, giving a kind of customers who are metaverse in nature. Basically, it is developing some shoe design models using certain software and then generating 3D model out of it with various colors, designs, and trends. And one can even visualize using VR glasses and then actually feel how it will look like. And that is the kind of attempt we are making. And this is a new project which aims at addressing the footwear waste generated both from the footwear industry as well as the post-consumer disposal issues. And this project is not yet started, and only yesterday we proposed to our RC, and I hope they have approved it, and we will just immediately take it up. And just very quickly, let me go through what is it all about. And if you look at the worldwide consumption of footwear, it is about 20 billion pairs footwear, the consumption pattern. And whereas a substantial portion of these shoes are discarded, approximately say 300 million pairs every year, it is end up in landfill, and that is the post-usage disposal. But on the other hand, suppose in a factory, if you look at to make a single pair of shoe, at least 30% of the material is wasted. Say, for example, during cutting or the sole manufacturing or through the waste from the upper through trimmings, etc. You can look at the quantum, say, per million pair, almost 300 tons are wasted. And currently, these materials are either just thrown away or it is used to, as a fuel for cement industry, or sometimes even it is burnt, which leads to a lot of air pollution and other problems. So this particular project aims to repurpose this footwear industry waste materials such as rubber, polymer, and fabric components and process them into reusable materials. and thereby can we create a sustainable loop? So that is the idea. And we have, again, meticulously formulated 4 work packages out of it. The delamination of footwear waste components, that's a major requirement because it is a mixture of several materials. Unless you delaminate successfully, you will not be able to make a proper recycling. And second one targets the identification and sorting because you use a lot of different materials, different polymers. There is a need to identify and then also successfully sort them is the major requirement. Then we are looking at either upcycling as a composite sheets or we try to extract the source or intermediate high value products out of it. And if you try to look at the prior art or state of the art in terms of the industry, of course, there are a lot of research done, but in terms of commercial usage, there is a company in Netherlands which already tried to doing this delamination and also recycling. They use a heat-based principle to delaminate, and we are looking at both heat or solvent-based approach or a hybrid approach. And in terms of identification, again, the same company tried to use a heat with the friction-based approach. And there is another company, PicVisa, Spain. They tried to use optical sorter machine where it sorted out based on the composition, color, shape, etc. And we try to couple all these approaches along with the FTIR or NIR-based tools, coupling with AI-based machine learning tools. And we also tie up with our sister lab, CSIR, where they already had some automated sorted system for common plastics. And now we are trying to integrate that for our non-leather footwear. And just to give another important aspect, the Nike is already rolled out a reuse a shoe program, and which is called Nike Grind, and they recycle almost 1.5 million pairs annually, and they try to use at least 30% of the sustainable materials in their shoemaking. And the right side, you can see there are 2 products of Nike where at least 15 to 20% recycled material is there. And they try to cut into different materials like the rubber outsole, foam, fiber, etc. And each one finds its own applications. Say in the case of rubber, they try to use it as an outsole, or they try to use it as a track surface. And in the case of foam, they make it as a cushion material for the tennis courts or basketball courts. And in the case of fiber, they are trying to using it as a cushioning pad for a variety of applications. So let me not go into the details of what are the work elements, and mostly this comprises whatever I just mentioned. So with this, I will just try to close what are our efforts in terms of R&D needs for the Indian non-leather footwear industries. And thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thanikavel. So we could see the importance of non-leather footwear, and CLRI means for long years they have done a lot of work in leather industry, and now they are doing a lot of work in non-leather industry also. Because as a part of our national footwear policy, government want to be the pioneer in footwear industry. So means if we want to be the pioneer, means we want to serve the needs of the customers. So customer is changing and their requirement is changing. So the major part is studying customer requirement and changing our manufacturing and our other processes. So we need a lot of startups, because yesterday the director was telling, earlier CLRI and CSIR were doing a lot of researches. India doing a lot of researches, but the application, the final application was very less, around 2% something. And now the institutes are focusing more on the customer requirement and industrial applications, so that more of usage will come. So if the alignment will not come, the researches are happening, because I heard that around 60 researches are happening in footwear soles alone, but nothing is used by the industry for the benefit of the customer. And many Indian startups are doing a lot of subsequent recycling, but the multinationals are good in telling stories, and the stories are captured by CLRI also. And I think it is the time is means the startups and Indian industries should start telling stories, and that should be captured by CLRI also in future. So thanks a lot. It's a very insightful report, and I request all the industrialists, all the people to give your requirement, because CLRI is here to do the research as per the industry requirement. So if you can interact more, and if you give the requirement, we will be able to give the solution. And the footwear sizing system, as part of the sizing system, CLRI is doing, I think Sadiq sir will be explaining more on that. So we can hear a lot from Sadiq sir. Please, I invite him for the presentation.
Before I start speaking, there's one of our industry friends who's hiding behind, and he's one of the key developers of these vegan materials and so on. So can you please come forward? Annan Anbu Malar Ugalada. He's Mr. Anbu Malar, and he runs a shoe factory called PA Footwear. They also have a backup tannery. The gentleman on your left has recently started working with them as well, making shoes for kickers, and it's fair that we make him sit there. And I changed 4 pairs of shoes today. I first picked up a white shoe, and then I saw out of the window that it's raining and I didn't want to spoil my shoe. Then I debated, should I wear a leather shoe or should I wear a non-leather shoe? Well, I said to myself, 38 years of working in leather and 4 years of education, which is 42 years. So there's still a bit of passion for leather, so I've worn leather shoes. And so you said about story and stories, and I've brought you stories. I've brought all of us stories. So let us hear the stories and then interact. A tale of Crocs. Ladies and gentlemen, I shall now present a tale of Crocs. The next slide has 4 sub-slides, which speaks about the various facets, phases of Crocs, from ridicule to runways, how Crocs became fashion's unlikeliest icon. Crocs was once mocked for their ugly design, turned ridiculed into opportunity. From a niche boat shoe to a billion-dollar global brand, Crocs made an extraordinary comeback through daring collaborations, celebrity endorsements, and embracing their own uniqueness. In 2020, Crocs reported record-breaking revenue of US $2.3 billion, proving that comfort, individuality, and smart marketing can defy all odds. Here's the first story.
एक एक करके लगाना, आराम आराम से। हाँ लगाओ।
I have no comments on the first video. The younger Gen Zs behind will understand Lokesh Kanagaraj's multiverse or multi-universe. Kaidi becomes Vikram, and then Munjia becomes Ritu, and so on. So if you miss any slide, I will only blame you. So please follow carefully. Stay there. Let's go on to the second clip. We've had the Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. M.K. Stalin, inaugurating the manufacturing unit for Crocs footwear brand, a footwear manufacturing unit of JR1 Kothari factory in phase 1, built at a cost of rupees 400 crores and by Phoenix Accord and the Kothari Group in Erayur Sipcot in Perambulur. This factory will create an employment of 4,000 jobs. Ladies and gentlemen, the emphasis is that this factory will create an employment of 4,000 jobs. The MOU was signed, and I think the production has already started.
If I may add, this one within 1 year of the signing of the MOU and JV, the shoes started rolling out.
Exactly.
Of 1 million square feet factory.
So please note that within 1 year they have started the production and their expansion. The largest mall for Crocs is at the Lulu Mall in Cochin. And here, in the fourth part of this same slide, we have an affordable version of the Crocs. Let's meet the billionaire's daughter, the lady in the middle, Farah Malik Bhanji, huge network, and we asked her this question: do you face a challenge of people in different places preferring different styles? And she says, like food habits, footwear fashion changes every 100 kilometers in our country. For example, the shortest heel preference is in Kolkata, whereas the longest heel is preferred in Delhi. Hence, fashion footwear has always been dominated as well as successfully managed by local retailers. My first emphasis was on the 4,000 jobs. My second emphasis is on the local retailers. Keeping up the technology as well as keeping up systems flexible enough to adapt to new technology is the biggest challenge. Sound knowledge of consumers, their needs, and adaptation to modern retailing methods are crucial and one of the biggest challenges faced by this industry. We asked her again, materials used in footwear, how are you dealing with it? And she says, there are advantages in using leather in footwear. The comfort and durability of leather is unmatched by any man-made material. Today, however, there is an increased awareness of price and hence the need to use alternate materials. We, she says, at Metro Brands offer a wide variety, ensuring our customers' footwear needs are met both in leather and in non-leather. And before I move on to say what we can do, how we go about preparing a roadmap for the non-leather footwear industry, I shall focus on some of the deterrents that we are facing in the Indian domestic market. India's domestic market is undeniably vast, with a current per capita footwear consumption of about 2 pairs per person. This signals great potential for growth. So while we are all looking at the various potential opportunities, here's another short story. I live in an apartment complex which also has paying guests, and I live right on the IT corridor. And in the evening, these boys and girls are coming to the rooms and they're just looking at the phones, and then from the lift they're getting on. They don't even see me that I'm there right in the front. What are you doing? No, uncle. On Myntra, I saw a shoe yesterday. It was $792, but today when I wanted to buy, it is $900. So please note, ladies and gentlemen, that this is again what the IT industry, on whom we started focusing 10 years back, that they are going to be our biggest customers. This is their behavior pattern. What did you have for lunch today, Revant Reddy? Uncle, I had an offer from Swiggy. So I had biryani from Paradise Hotel. Hey, but that's a very expensive hotel. No, uncle. Swiggy had an offer. So what was 440, I got the biryani for 250. Anyone facing this, the last row? Kaiya thookunga? Thookuma, parvalla. Tapana nikku poradilla. There she is. So, our future customers. Manufacturers, as manufacturers, we predominantly experienced producing black and brown shoes. We initially targeted the upper middle class and the upper class segments, hoping to replicate our export success. But unfortunately, this strategy proved to be too limited in scope. So, excepting for a bare few like Alberto Torresi, or you take Tray Mode from Bombay, they've been very successful in making classic shoes for using non-leather materials. And then we have Charles and Keith and also Aldo Footwear, which is doing a great job. A wave of sports casuals and sneakers soon swept through the market, becoming the dominant trend. While some of us adapted to manufacturing these products, we encountered fierce competition, particularly for imports. Chairman Sifi, point 4, imported shoes have flooded the market competing with our own products. Ironically, we find ourselves competing on the same platform, Instagram, trying to sell our own products. Agra, one of our major shoe manufacturing hubs, is already facing environmental challenges due to unsustainable waste management, with over 6,000 home-based businesses contributing to the issue without adequate disposal or recycling methods. I'm glad, Dr. Tanike Velan, that you had spoken about recycling. We don't need to remind ourselves what happened to the leather industry in the recent past, when the entire all the tanneries in Tamil Nadu were shut for polluting. Let this not happen to us. The Indian domestic market is experiencing a slowdown. 2 festivals in a month. You have Dasera, beginning of the month, and you have Diwali, end of the month. Now, where is the money? And to add to this, people have to travel, they have to go to their hometowns. So, certainly, and at the moment, there is a downturn and a slowdown. Adding to our woes is the rise of e-commerce, the example of the youngsters which I just gave you. Unbranded and often unknown sellers are flooding online platforms, offering shoes for as little as 500 to 600 rupees. Now, this raises several questions. How many people do these informal businesses employ? What kind of infrastructure and machinery do they use? Do they adhere to quality standards? Ladies and gentlemen, this is my answer to the very first clip that you saw, which was from Instagram. I put a disclaimer as well, it's not mine, and where they said, crooks making, not crux making. Point 8. For decades, since India became a full-fledged shoe manufacturer for global brands in the mid-80s, we have meticulously focused on every detail: design, components, technology, compliance, and most importantly, generating employment. Yet today, we must reflect on how we can sustain and grow in this increasingly competitive market. So, what must we do to realize our dreams of making India a global leader in the footwear industry? I believe we must take decisive action. Stem the tide of unauthorized shoe imports by traders and retailers. From the roots, stem the tide. Welcome foreign brands. We've got Kothari bringing in several brands now. Welcome foreign brands through FDDI and joint ventures, and foster competition. That way, we get to improve our own product, how better we can make the product. And at the same time, we need to be mindful of the challenges faced by brands like Clarks and now potentially Birkenstock. We must, through CIFI, establish a robust panel under the Council for Leather Exports, working with DPIIT, to audit and ensure that shoes made for the Indian domestic market meet high standards of quality and compliance. And the last point on the deterrence is that the Indian consumer, you and I, we deserve better. To meet our expectations, the factories must operate with precision and innovation, ensuring that our industry is positioned to thrive both domestically and globally. So, the roadmap we will now discuss the roadmap for the non-leather footwear industry. We need 2 things. We need a vision and we need a mission. What should be our vision? To lead the global footwear industry by developing innovative, sustainable, and high-performance non-leather footwear materials and technologies. And the mission? To drive research and development in non-leather footwear materials and technologies to meet the evolving needs of consumers and the planet. So there are quick 5 points here, and my last 3 to 4 minutes. Material innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Tanikei Velan yet again. Kudos to CLRI, to Dr. Tanikei Velan, and the work being done by Dr. Saravanan and Dr. Sundar, who are also working on such materials. And to our friend from the industry, sir, please rise, Mr. Anbu Malar, for having developed vegan virya, which is creating a lot of acceptance in the market. And not only has he developed the materials, but he's also developed different products out of these vegan materials so that one can understand. Walkaroo, sir, can now have a Walkaroo Jain. Just like, you know, I go to Shri Mithai and he asks me, do you want a sandwich regular or do you want a sandwich Jain? So if I say a sandwich Jain, then I don't have the vegetables that are growing below the earth into my product. Truth to tell, Mr. Mohan Srinivas, you must be knowing him from Orient Express, one of the largest garment manufacturers, called up a few weeks back and said, can I get a yoga mat made out of a vegan material? Now, these are very, very staunch, religious followers who do not want to use leather. So have Walkaroo Jain shoes as well. That's another great market for us. Bio-based materials, I'm not going to go into the details because Tariq Velan has already covered, including nanotechnology. Second key R&D area would be manufacturing technologies. I think the session in the evening discusses about manufacturing technologies and the new machineries that are there for shoe production. So I will also not speak more on this. Yeah, but I would definitely like to emphasize on the third one, performance enhancement, comfort and fit. Conduct research to optimize the comfort and fit of non-leather footwear. We've done this for leather footwear. Let's replicate this for the non-leather footwear. So I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not covering the footwear sizing here. But I think in this ambit, it also gets captured that we use the new footwear sizing here to evaluate the comfort and fit as well. And most importantly, which also was covered by Tariq Velan, is the water resistance and breathability, including durability and longevity. Sustainability and environmental impact. Had those 6,000 households in Agra been a little more careful, we wouldn't have had to have an extra slide here. Conduct life cycle assessment to evaluate the environmental impact of non-leather footwear materials and production processes. Sustainable sourcing. Last week, was it, when we had our component manufacturers, Manoj Bhaiya, C&D, going to Guangzhou to understand different materials. I don't know if it was under the CLE banner, but they went out. So to support you, we have IFCOMA, which is working in close tandem with us to see what are the new materials that could be brought onto our tables. And consumer insights and market trends, well, one of my favorite subjects where I used to be working on fashion trends and forecasting, and I still keep in touch, and I think CLRI is now ready with the trends for the spring-summer 2026 season as well. So no longer are the malls just selling for festivals. There too you go to the brands, and brands are putting up our winter collection, our summer collection, and so on. So I think we need to be part of them as well too. So in conclusion,
And I'm sorry to say that I'm not fully happy with the presentation because, see, the country is going through a very tough situation. See, in 2022, our trade deficit with China was $70 billion in record. As all of us knows, from China, the major products are coming at 15-20% billing. So it may be some $300 billion. And the trade deficit with China, US is around $500 billion every year. And it is increasing. So China don't want to purchase from, means America, US don't want to purchase from China. Still the export is increasing because most of the brands are owned by Chinese people. Chinese people has bought many brands, European brands and US brands, and they are sourcing from China or Chinese origin factories from other part of the world. Unfortunately, we are not growing. So we were in footwear, we were around $2 billion export in footwear. I'm telling leather and non-leather total. And still we are same $2.2 billion. We are not grown. And something fundamentally we are doing wrong because be happy with what we are doing. Of course, we should be happy with what we are doing, but never be satisfied because we have the capability to do a lot more. And unfortunately, we are not doing. And if we become more happy without doing and we have content, we will not be doing in future also. And we should welcome the foreign brands coming to India and setting up unit and doing export and domestic brand. See, government of India want to increase the manufacturing from current 16-17 to 25%. And the domestic MSME is one of the major segment in Indian manufacturing industry. We should promote MSMEs. So unfortunately, a lot things we can do because if you take the footwear industry, if you take the past material, PVC leather, EVA, and PU, see currently most of the MSMEs are not using the updated formulation for all these materials. And the present material is ETPU and super liquid ETPU, etc. We are not at all using. We are completely importing the materials. And the upper material, the present one, the past one we have that is to be updated. The present one, many things we are not manufacturing. And the institute are supposed to do the future ones. So what consumer need after 5 years, after 10 years, we have to do research on those things and we have to bring to India and promote the industries. Then only we will be adding value to the country. So please, sorry that because we have to take this as a national interest. If we don't do, our country will not grow. If the MSMEs don't grow, we will not grow. And please stop promoting the brands. Please promote the properties, the features, what the R&D institutes can add to the country. So that's why I'm more interested, how can we add more properties, more features to the footwear? And stop promoting the brands. Promote, CLRI has developed so much properties, FTDI has introduced so much properties, and many research institutes who are doing researches in India added these properties and sold to MSMEs. And how can the country grow and go to the next level? Anyway, because I am telling that normally a person is doing 2 or 3% of his capability. But in footwear industry, we are not even using 0.2 or 0.3% of our capability. So if we all work together, we'll be able to do a lot more. So we cannot achieve things that we have not conceived in our mind. If we don't have this aim, we will never achieve this. But if we have the aim, we'll be able to achieve. In space research yesterday, people were telling that we could achieve only because we aimed that. So if we don't aim higher, we will not reach anywhere. So, we expect, as the industry, we expect more from the research institute. Same way, the collaboration only will help us to take the country ahead. So anyway, thanks for the presentation.
Part of the presentation was...
It was not futuristic. So country want to go ahead. Because, so even the present materials are not here in India. So we want future materials. We want, otherwise, see, we won't be able to grow. So now, the entire world is looking to, because as a country, our capacity is more, our demographic is very attractive. Our purchasing power will grow up in next 5 to 10 years drastically. China is aging, and all other countries are aging, and they have already reached a maximum level. It will not grow further. But in India, the consumption will go up. So the entire world is doing research for the materials in all products, including footwear industry. Because when we talk to the Chinese or other people, they are developing materials for Indian requirement after 2 years and after 5 years. We are not up to date. And even we see the materials of last 5 years or 10 years. That also we are not updated, we are not using in an updated way. So lot to go. So if we continue like this, we will not grow. Now what happened, so in consumer goods, soaps, the multinationals come here and making soaps, Lifebuoy, Hammam, whatever it may be, because we have become the consumer. And in footwear also, the whole world is coming to India, and they are setting up plants, and they will sell, and we will become the consumer. Is that do we want? See, our Prime Minister is aiming Vikasit Bharat, and our Commerce Ministry is aiming at spike growth in footwear industry. If we go like this, will we be able to achieve that? So if you want to, as a country, if you want to go ahead, because if you want prosperity, if you want growth, we should think in a different way. Sir, I think because it's a panel discussion, I'm sorry that all the panelists are waiting. I request Mr. Mohanji, because he's have a rich experience. Sir, if you have any comments, I request you if you have few words, because it's no. For the
What you are saying makes. I'll just come up.
Yeah, sir, please, sir.
No, with due respect to Mr. Sadiq and all the panelists, I believe what Mr. Naushad is just mentioning, that as a research institution, we ought to focus what value we can add to the product. And that can be sold to not only the domestic manufacturers, but also to the brand, because that's going to add value what the consumers are going to get eventually. I think that's what you meant, Naushad, I think. So that's, and we as an Indian, we as a consumer, we want to have a best of the product. I think your example about Agra was really apt, and I really, to be honest, it was an eye-opener to be what you have said about what's going on. I never knew that there are 6,000, it's next door to me, but 6,000 household shoemakers. But we need to get out of that mold for sure. But what Mr. Rafiq Malik's daughter said also, that also makes sense. So we need to think in those terms. And the object of why we are talking here today at CLRI is because we need to focus for the future. And this is what all this discussion is all about. That's why we are sitting, this elite panel is here only for this reason, that how we can perceive this industry 10 years from now or 5 years from now. Because now we have to start thinking in near terms, not in 15, 20 years. Otherwise, we are going to miss the bus. This is the right time why we are here. And I think that's the very important thing. I'm sorry I had to go for another meeting because DG has just came in. So, but this is very enlightening, and I definitely wanted to be a part of this, and I would request CLRI that maybe if they are recording it, we will, I will request Shakila to share the recording of this because they are Mr. Mohan, and I just heard from Mr. Mohan about Mr. Saud, and Maniraman, I think I have talked to him once on the phone, and Mr. James Matthew. So you all are, Mr. Singh, so you all are eminent panelists, and we'll definitely, and I've also talked to Naushad in a little while. Thank you very much, Naushad, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you, man.
Thank you for your words, sir. Mohan, sir, please.
Thank you, Mr. Jalan, and thank you, eminent panelists, and also the presentation from Tanivedan as well as Sadiq. I would like to kind of, touch upon a few things. I had worked in the entire value chain of this industry, right from selling leather when I started out as a management trainee with Tatas, and going to shoe manufacturing, and going into branding, going to working with one of the top retailers of the country, and promoting few brands, and also, kind of worked internationally in Europe for many years, and whereas in Far East also. So, what Naushad said makes a lot of sense, and we need to be futuristic in our thinking. And just to answer, first I will go with Mr. Tanivelan's presentation. The work done is quite good, but what Mr. Naushad said is there are few new emerging materials. Vegan material is, don't call it vegan leather. I will never call it as vegan leather. Vegan material is what we should call it as. Vegan material is there, and it is there in certain pockets. It is not something which is largely commercialized or accepted, because the consumer still will take time. Maybe in 5 years' time, it could be it's now a fad, basically. Everyone wants to kind of say that I'm wearing a vegan bag. Vegetarianism is fad today. It's quite popular in the UK and Europe. It will take some time. Biodegradability. I had done a lot of work on biodegradability. In fact, me and my friend hold a patent with IIT Roper. And basically, we did this research some 6 years back to do a shoe which biodegrades in 2 years. We have got the lab test report, and we have patented the whole process also, in the sense that from nature. Basically, nature, if you believe in nature, nature has got many materials which biodegrade. Normally, even it's a leather shoe or a non-leather shoe, it takes about 50 years to 75 years to biodegrade when it ends up into a landfill. And in that process, there are a lot of CO2 emissions which takes place. And then now there are new things which are coming into the market. Like, for example, ASICS announced on every shoe they produce, the CO2 emission is about 25 kgs per. Like that, there is going to be, the global warming is coming in. Biofuels is going to be the in thing. You'll already talk about companies like Reliance talking about hydrocarbons and things like that. So the climate change and those kind of environment and impact is going to come. People are going to ask, is leather polluting? What is the CO2 emissions in leather? For example, right from beam house to the finish. Those kind of things are going to come in, definitely, if not today. The next 2-3 years, you will find these kind of things coming in very, very strongly. And also, as an industry, this is my personal opinion. I have got about 42 years plus. I came to this industry at the age of 19 as a management trainee. 42 years plus working around the globe. And as an industry, we have failed to market leather properly. Leather is a byproduct. We should never ever talk about livestock population when we compare about the leather industry. Livestock population is for meat industry. We are doing a great service by utilizing the byproduct of meat industry and converting it into and making it into a usable product. This is something, which there are a lot of groups which are coming today about, anti-leather and those kind of groups which keeps posting things. So that is something, which and the institution level and the industry level we need to take care. That's number one I would like to say. Second, 2 minutes only I'll take. Yeah, I'll take just two minutes only. you know, why China is far ahead. Recently, I was last month in China. I visited after 5 years. Why China is far ahead, and what is the advantage India as a country have? This I would like to highlight it. The average age of workers working in Chinese factory is about 50 years plus. The average age of workers working in Vietnamese factory is about 45 years plus. And Indonesia is about 35 to 40 years. These are the competing countries, and I don't consider Cambodia as a competitor for us because it's a very small country. You can walk the country from morning to evening. So India has got a huge labor potential, and there is a huge opportunity. If you look at the global consumption, we can say any numbers to justify our existence, but the facts are facts. Last year, there is a reduction of 1.6 billion pairs. You can go through the World Footwear Book, which is a document which everyone reads through. 1.6 billion pairs have been reduced, and America lost about 1 billion pairs. Europe is about 400 million pairs, and Asia is about 300 million pairs. And if you look at the consumption of leather versus non-leather footwear, 50% is textile and rubber-based material, and leather is only about 15% in that. In terms of numbers I'm not talking in terms of value. I have known people who make a leather shoe for 15,000 pounds also. I got one shoe recently, it's a Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton Nike collaboration, Air Force One shoe. I got for somebody, a big industrialist of this country. It's 15,000 pounds, limited edition. So value is not the right way to compare. It's only the number of pairs we need to compare. That's what will generate jobs and this thing. Our aim is to create jobs. China looked at it in a differently from India. China looked at it holistically from end to end, raw to retail, how many jobs are being created. In India also, we need to kind of look at it. We need jobs. The youngsters, we have got youngsters, and something which is happening, like Mr. Naushadji also mentioned, the disposable income is increasing and the premierization is taking place. We cannot kind of look at the current situation as the statement of what it is. But when you're thinking futuristically, we need to look at what are the new polymers which are evolving, like microfiber. You missed out, I didn't see the microfiber in your list. It's one of the most emerging material because it's breathable. All the apparel, all the textile, handbags, accessories industries are using it. We are putting up a plant in our this thing. I'll come to that later. But I'm saying like there are a lot of new materials are emerging. And we need to create a cell, I would say, the industry, academia, and the institution partnership is what will take any industry forward. It happened in China, it happened in Vietnam. I can quote n number of examples. That close kind of coordination and working, and we should forget the past. What happened, happened. Leather will have its own place of glory. Nobody can take away with it. We'll have a different discussion on leather, why we are not growing. That's my own personal perception. But as far as non-leather is concerned, timing is right now. And we need, number one, in terms of innovative materials, what are the materials which are emerging? Like microfiber is one thing which I said. And you know, I can't name the brand. In 2 years' time, there will be a new thing which is coming in the market. Because I am collaborated with that people, I'm not allowed to divulge the name of the company and the brand. Waterless dyeing, textile waterless dyeing. It's going to be one of the biggest sustainable story which is going to come in. So we need to somewhat think more futuristic, what is important. What is preventing us from growing in this country? The preventing us from going is the unity is one, like there's always a discussion about leather and non-leather, export versus domestic, and there's always this kind of discussion. Time has come for all of us to come together. Really come together, and we have got brilliant excellent institutes like CLRI, FDDI, and NIFT in designing, and also NID in designing. All these institutes need to come together and have a kind of a roadmap for futuristic materials. Yes, we can give you 20 materials. When we go to China, we can pick up 100 materials and tell you, these are the new things which are happening. We need to kind of have that kind of a focus, R&D mind focus, with a view to kind of how we can improve the entire industry up. We are struggling because of our ecosystem, lack of materials. Like I'm producing for a brand, again, I cannot tell you the brand. Even the screw for the heel, I'm importing. Even the screw for the high heel shoe, I'm importing. Today, we don't have proper supplier here in the country. Yes, that shoe sells at 16,000 rupees if you go to the store. But I make that shoe here, importing many of the things, and only the leather is produced locally. Many of the. So I'm saying, like, we need to kind of look at it a little bit more futuristically, and definitely CLRI can play a fantastic role. With this, I conclude. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your insight. So next, I request Bata Yogendra Singh, the largest domestic brand in India, because I stick to our subject, because the panel discussion is on R&D needs for non-leather footwear materials. Please, thank you.
Yeah, so first thanks to CLRI to invite me this discussion. So we will take not more time. So I'm with Nausad Bhai and Mohan sir. So we are still depending on in China. So I will share my just experience pre-COVID and post-COVID. And pre-COVID, we 100% depend on all material, 95% or 100% from China, full shoe and raw material. At the one meeting, I am with some cross-functional team. So my CEO is coming. You saw the news. Because of the COVID, you cannot import anything from China. So what is your plan? Because we 100% depend on China, and the 4 million pair approximately on state to market. So immediately we discussed with the local supplier, because at that time we have only one PU manufacturer. So we learned from COVID, the pre-COVID, we are depending on approximately, if we talk about in Bata, to 3 to 4 million full shoe pair, and approximately 10 million pairs depend on material. So after COVID, we reduced 75% import from China. But problem is this, we reduced 75% import from China, but still depend on material, because we don't have capability to make mold, we don't have capability to make synthetic, we don't have capability to make some ornament, accessories and all. So as a team, as a CLRI, we need to, as a joint call, to take as a future, to first we need to develop T2 supplier, basically component. If we strong in component, easily we can make shoe. So my point is this, and the second part, we can make, because the market, speed to market, if we need to capture market, because customer will not wait. If product is not in store, customer will buy another product. So if we want to product at that same time with good quality product, with shorter lead time. So for that, if we talk about, we are working on, especially first, from initially, we are working for leather shoe with leather sole. Now the consumer is moving for lightweight. So now dependency or in leather to TPR, then rubber, and now in EVA. The future, if we talk about sole in EVA, still we don't have EVA mold maker in India. We are still depend for mold in China. So first we need to develop this type of capability in India as a team. And right now we have 3-4 PU supplier. So in PU, the complexity, if we talk about the PU supplier, we need this type of PU. The problem is roller. The problem is not machine. Because in one roller, they want 10,000 meter material. And my ask is only 100 meter. We cannot commit 10,000 meter. So my point is this, if as an industry, be hand-holding, if we, as a hand-holding, we will go with Indian PU supplier, so I don't think they have any problem to make any roller 1, 2, 3, and 10. So we need to look at this component-based industry. So once this component industry will be strong in India, definitely we can achieve. So for future, so as a sourcing hub, the world is looking for a sourcing hub from India, then we can achieve. This is my point of view. Thanks.
Thank you, Yogendra ji. I think in national footwear policy, this has become as a major discussion, and government is trying to promote by incentivizing this mold material and machinery manufacturing, and even they are trying to limit the subsidies or incentives only for this item. Hope in future this will improve. Thank you. And Mr. Sahood is a young entrepreneur, so we would like to hear from Mr. Sahood.
Thank you. Thank you for honoring the stage with you all, and thank you for having me. Before I go my point, I am 2014 FTDA pass out student, FTDA in Chennai. So what I learned from FTDA in Chennai, and after I joined my family business. So what I learned, what I did, what I am doing, it's completely different. I can say this is a original experience. This is completely different. Nowadays, the curriculum is changing, and we are getting, Naushad sir and Mohan sir, a lot of my seniors, a lot of effort are doing to change the curriculum. So this is getting a positive way. So we are feeling that things are happening, a lot of studies are happening, and we can say this has happened, that has happened. But what is the real need for the industrialist? I'm just came in from last day in Ruyan city in China. Again, I'm going after 2 weeks, I'm going to China. Why I'm going China again and again? My senior just said the mold what not knowing in India. Same the problem only. We are not getting the proper accuracy mold from in India. That's where we are going. Even in textile industry, I'm just quickly finishing my point. Even the textile industry, now we are very strong in textile industry, we are very fabric manufacturer in India. Even we are knowingly or unknowingly using footwear, the textile material. If we study little more in the textile, we can use so many things in the footwear for upper, for the, we are using, even I'm using that velvet shoe. This is a non-leather. So if we are putting the little bit effort or right way effectively in the textile industry, we will get a much material deviation, much material designs of getting the same industry. That's having in India itself. We don't want to go to other side. And second point, if I want to build above 5,000 pair, above 5,000 MRP priced one sneaker shoe without leather, I cannot depend in India. My senior just said, I should depend to the Chinese PU material or the backing material. That is the real problem. We are doing so much things. We are doing, that is another way, we are doing so much things. But what industries need, we should, I'm just giving to the CLRI and FTDI, we should ask the real non-leather sector people what we required. Why we are going China? We need to build in India itself. We need to buy India itself. We are actually under percentage to pick up the country, and we are just doing whatever we are doing that we are continue doing. So traditionally, we are a PVC manufacturer for the Rexins. We are the largest PVC manufacturer. That we are doing, keep doing. And we are also manufacturing good level in leather also. What is the rest? So please understand the industries, what need and requirement, and talk to the real as a industrialist people, and steady depend on that, then progress will happen. Otherwise, we keep this going, keep. So I'm just a study the last 10 years back, so same things are happening right now. That's a feeling I'm sharing, I'm very sorry. And really thank you for this opportunity, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Sahood. And I think those who have technical background should take the lead in increasing the interaction with the industry and the institute. So I hope we are inviting CLRI team to Kerala for an interaction with industry people. There we can discuss all these things in detail, because because in PU, I think there are a lot of PhD happening in CLRI, and whatever our requirement, if we properly tell to CLRI, they will be able to help. And if we combine the synthetic leather manufacturers with the institutes, we'll be able to do a lot more, and hope future we'll be able to do a lot of things in this direction. Thank you. And I request Mr. Manimaran, General Manager, Fengtai Group. As you know, Fengtai is the largest footwear exporter from India. And sir, we would like to hear from you.
Yeah. Thank you, Chairman. So basically for Fungtai, we are right now our capacity is around 40 million pairs per annum. So most of them goes for export, but basically it also brings a lot of opportunity for Indian material ecosystem. As you know, out of our 40 million pairs that we export, nearly only 15% of our material is sourced locally. So remaining 85% is imported. So this is the kind of things. So basically right now we are have 17 years in operation in India. And still now we are struggling to localize the material. Even with longer lead times, say our materials is coming from Taiwan or China or even Vietnam, it comes with a longer lead time, and it also builds our inventory also. So in that sense, localizing is really a big boon for the industry that the industry should utilize. And also we have been parallelly working with suppliers, and right now after so many years of struggle, right now we are just located a leather supplier to be supplying from local. And even for the synthetic leather, that is a big challenge right now. Basically the elasticity of the product that is required for our kind of product we make for Nike and Solomon, basically when it comes to shoes, and for also for Crocs. So for shoe material, basically the substrate is very weak, and it brings up a lot of failure on the testing methods, and ultimately the product cannot pass, and eventually the trials fail, and also the supplier have to be moved on to the other one. So this is how the situation is. So it really, and also when it comes to the textile fabrics, and even we can locate a supplier, the quality of yarn that is going to be used in the product, that is also not meeting the standards. So looking into the more performance-oriented products, the product's performance, the material performance really holds the key here. So that is really lacking in the industry, which the industry can catch up. So we come with a lot of opportunity for localization, even with the recent BIS norms getting into the place, and government is restricting the imports of finished footwear. So even making for global brands like Nike, we are in a fix that we have to start making locally. But do we have a real local ecosystem that can supply the material to make it locally? That is a big question in front of us. So this is an opportunity that the industry can really utilize and improve upon. Maybe with the help of CLRI and your support, that can be really helpful to do that. And going to the second part of our requirement, that will be related to the recycling. So as I told already, with 7 factories in operation, we generate close to 150 tons of waste that is being sent to the cement factories for energy recovery. So as a responsible brand, so we don't do improper practice of disposing our waste. So we do responsibly, and even to send to cement factories for the process, we spend the cost. So this is how the situation is. So again, in this area, if you can have some research that can really support to recycle the material, that can even not to make the shoes, at least for making some useful products out of it, that can be helpful. Basically, when it comes to non-recyclable products, it again boils down to synthetic leather, then some of the laminated materials, textiles. These are the challenging items. But however, materials like EVAs or whatever may be the case related to leather, we are able to recycle. Even rubber, we are able to recycle. But these kind of materials really is not able to be recycled. And from an industry perspective, we have to spend the cost to dispose the material. So these are 2 big challenges as an industry that we face. But it is also an opportunity for the local industry to catch up, to deliver our demand that can make a living out of it. So that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manimara. because 17 years in India with the latest technology for manufacturing, but still 85% materials importing. I think as you told, it's a good opportunity, but for past 17 years, we couldn't utilize this opportunity. Is little painful, and hope some of the, I think 35, 40 people are joined online also. So many of the industrialists can see this as an opportunity and work in this area. So thank you. And I request Mr. James to share his views on this subject.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's a time because half the seats have gone empty now. Anyway, thanks to Tanikavelan and Sadiq sir. It was a very good because you are telling what we need actually is shared by Mr. Tanikavelan. And from Sadiq sir's Crocs itself, I will start. Crocs, you know, it's very comfortable and at the same time it gives life. So it has got cushion effect, it has got compression set, and it has the same abrasion is also very low. Now Indian companies, I don't know whether what we make, we are not able to match to that. So CLRI, when I say the polymer science or maybe the scientists from your end, can we create materials like matching to the properties? Because we need, all these three properties are actually contradicting. If you are going for too soft, your abrasion is going to go up. And somewhere you need to make a material or give us, support us to make materials like that. Now, we can get it from abroad, but then the cost. So it all boils down to the cost. And again, I will tell you the PU laminated material. We are 95% we are importing from China. We have manufacturers in India. But if I import from China, I get it at half the cost what I am getting here. So what the support from my side point of view, if I see, it's the cost competitive manufacturing. That's the support we need. Yes, we can develop materials, your recycling, yes, every new product, innovative, your support for the ancillary. But along with that, we need to have cost competitive manufacturing. You need to support the process, to create process in that way. I think the Make in India is very good to hear, but we need to have a paradigm shift to create in India. And that's the support we need from the CLRI with all the raw materials, ancillary industries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, James. And I would like to add on this, because can CLRI provide the basic formulation for this PVC, EVA, and this ETPU? Okay, yeah, means ETPU, because this PVC, EVA, PU are the existing or old material, and ETPU is the current material. But currently, we are not using the best form of all of these things. So, but this technology is not very complicated, it is simple only. But as around 15-20,000 small and medium manufacturers are not approaching CLRI, or CLRI is also not studying the consumer requirement, because Sadiq sir have told why people are using Crocs. But people are using Crocs because of the properties. So why can't we provide the same property by the other cottage industries? And in export also, see, our manufacturing capability is there, the craftsmanship is there in all MSMEs. But if you want the UK product, so can FDDI do a market research and understand what are the product requirement and the feature requirement and specification for European and US market, and develop a product and transfer a product kit to the MSMEs? So they will be able to use that. I heard that FDDI has done similar things 20 years back for leather, and that point of time it helped the leather industry. So if can we do the same for all type of footwear? Because now consumer is not looking whether it is leather or non-leather or whatever material. Even leather, it's only a percentage of leather. All other are non-leather materials. So, so if we can do, if we can industry give institute give such support, so we can take our industry to the global level, because only difference is material, process, and the tech specifications.
Definitely, sir. Your suggestion is will be considered, and in fact, we are now making a small pilot plan specifically dedicated to non-leather footwear production. And so far, it was not there. But now, since during various forums, this issue was raised, and now we already, ordered the machines. And once it is available, the request for your basic compounding, mixing of chemicals for specifically EVA or PU, we will definitely help you to evolve that process formulations, definitely. And with respect to other question of the survey of the industries, in the footwear recycling project, we already trying to take care of that issue, and we will definitely do that, a broad survey of not just only leather, even non-leather footwear industries. We will cover up as much as possible and then find out the needs and what are the kind of processes and also the waste generation. And based on that, we will work on it, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
I think it will be a great help to the industry.
One point, Mr. Thanivelan, I would like to share my experience. I visited about 8 years back, I visited a company in the UK. The name of the company is E-Leather, Engineered Leather. I don't know if you heard about it. What they do is they take all the leather waste and make it into fibers and use the synthetic other polymers to make it into an engineered leather, which is used widely in airline industry. E-leather, engineered leather. That's why it's known as E-leather. Basically, it's located in Birmingham. I think we should look at some kind of cooperation with such institutes. It was created by Kadori Group of Hong Kong, because Tata's, when I used to be there, we used to be participating in that research, saying like we should kind of look at such things. It will do a lot of good for our leather industry. That's what I would like to kind of bring it to your consideration.
I think we can go to interaction, and any panelist is there online, because I cannot see from here. Mr. Niran Anand, are you there? Yeah. Rajesh Rungtaji is there? So I think I don't know who is, because I cannot see the people online. So anybody is there, you can come forward and speak. Otherwise, we'll go to the question answer session. You can also, the people joined online also can ask questions. So I would like to request you for the interaction, because we can go through few questions, please. Chandru sir.
Well, I mean, it is definitely an absorbing one, and in my opinion, when we are talking about research and other things, there should be definitely a lot of scope for encouraging startups. In my opinion, I think Raju Chalan was trying to mention that CLE has helped one startup to do and all. It should not be, it is not just name the one or something, but it has to be a process. And the future lies on when we say that new materials and this and that, and many of them need to be explored for their acceptability or their success. One may not be knowing. When we talk about R&D, without innovation, R&D alone cannot, so you need that innovation part coming into it, and that has to happen with many of this. I think in my opinion, there has to be, whether it is council or any other, all the trade associations. I mean, in fact, they are probably more, and they can all join together and have a kind of a angel fund or something of that kind of a mechanism, where we can even rope in some professionals who can evaluate some of these people who can be part of this exercise of not just the waste to wealth, or new materials, and there, this sometimes even embedding some of our, what do we call, the gadgets that could go into it. Because I know, I mean, somehow, I mean, we missed the smart materials or smart products or something of those kind, because that's going to be the trend in most of our lifestyle accessories, because you cannot separate some of those things, I mean, that would go with it. I'm sure, I mean, if all of them could be focused, I'm not saying that you forget something or that it has to be an inclusive. That's what my views. Thank you again for all the panelists.
Yeah, good insight, sir, because the new thoughts generally coming from the youngsters only. And FTDI, Delhi, Noida has made a startup ecosystem. And SIFI, because we have this angel investment fund, with that discussion, we are part of the establishment. And we'll be happy to do with the CLRI also. Yesterday, during our RC meeting, we had a preliminary discussion with the director. Sir told, as a research institute, CLRI is not directly permitted to do these startups within the campus, but CLRI can interact with Anna University or any other education institutions, and they can set up the startups there. I think we need support from many people to make this reality, and the startups will bring new ideas and take the industry forward. So, yeah, please, sir.
About the footwear consumption pattern, we have been hearing the per capita consumption is 2 pairs for a very long time. But this figure is based on what? Has there been any comprehensive survey of the Indian market, size of the Indian market, structure of the Indian market? Has there been any one in the recent past?
See, there has been publications, basically, World Footwear Book is one, which collates the data from various places, plus they interact with Retailer Association of India, where what is the sales of organized retail, another thing, and then they try to evolve. It's a guesstimate, I would say, because today in India, if you look at it, only 60% is organized retail. People might say, like organized retail is improved, only 60%. Rest all unorganized retail, actually, in India. But the guesstimate says that it's about 1.9 pairs. Plus, in SIFI, I kind of mentored two kind of researchers. One is in SIFI, we had a small, research agency, Carisalis, and we made them interact with about 2,000 entrepreneurs, retailers, manufacturers, and they visited some 60 cities. The whole initiative was started by Mr. Sandeep Kataria, myself, and Mr. Naushad. Sandeep Kataria of Bata, and we had about 8-9 rounds, and the research took almost 1.5 years to complete. It's not something which is done, cooked, and given. And that research, which said very clearly, in fact, they said 2.1 pair, if you remember, Mr. Naushad. 2.1 pair, because the unorganized, sales through the unorganized sector is not being taken. And then they gave a logic of how this market is going to double. They gave a very clear logic how this 2.1 is going to go to 4.8 pairs per person per annum consumption. Because India, there is aspirational population. I can tell you from my experience from Clarks, as an MD of Clarks, Southeast Asia, I can tell you, on the online sales especially, 30 to 35% of our sales used to come from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. And these, we don't call it as Tier 2 and Tier 3, we give a different name called emerging urban centers. The urbanization is happening quite fast in India, number one. Number two, the young population, what is happening is, there is a shift from need to want. Just to explain you, I need a particular footwear to carry my body from A to B. That's a need-based consumer. And want is, I need this particular brand because I want to show a personality. I want to kind of reflect my personality. Like you wear a dress, and another thing, like Sadiq pointed out my shoe and said that, where did you buy the shoe? Initially when he looked at it and said, okay, So I'm fond of leather shoes and I'm fond of Italian shoes. So I always, kind of, try to give that impression. So dress and footwear especially has become a fashion statement of individuals, reflecting his attitudes. That's what the market is moving. I also happen to work in the domestic market, and before I entered in Future Group, I was on the board of Future Group with Mr. Biani. I visited some 60 to 65 Indian cities before we launched Lee Cooper. And the consumer behavior is completely different. It's very interesting. And that makes us believe that's a huge domestic demand which is happening in India. Like if you look at recently, I represented all the international brands in a forum, which, on the BIS only basically, telling them the Indian consumer to good, better, best assortment is what the retailer does it. The best one, today we cannot make it in this country and you should be allowed to import. And the volume is very, very little. And if I looked at the plans of investments which they are committing into this country, believe me, like my own project is 75 million pairs. My colleague here, Phung Thai, which I am quite closely associated when they came into this country in 1998 initially and then 2006, their plans are also quite high. And if you look at Pouchen, if you look at Dean Shoes, which is inaugurating on 15th, everyone is coming with a pairage of 60 to 70 million pairs. It's all in non-leather which is happening. And it is basically, they are all coming into this country, not only to serve the world, but also to serve the domestic market. And I cannot tell you about the two other collaborations which we are bringing in, and both are about 30 million pairs each. You will see in the press and when it gets announced by the brands, we have signed an NDA. I'm saying that the market is, today is the right time. And a lot of research need to be done on the non-leather, R&D, emphasizing it, especially on the new evolving polymers and new materials. And it's very, very important, like if we have to capture, otherwise we'll miss the bus, to be very honest. To summarize your question, specific question, the per capita consumption, yes. In fact, our report says it's 2.1. But if you look at World Footwear Trade Book, which is published recently, 2023 numbers, even that states about 1.78. And the world, everywhere there's a degrowth, only India grew by 2%, as per that report. And 2% on a large 2.65 billion pairs is phenomenal, actually, to be very honest. So we have a great opportunity in the domestic market also. If you look at the retail, everyone is investing a lot in retail. So there is a huge opportunity. That's what I would like to say. Thank you. We are the second largest consumer. Let me throw some numbers at you. The world consumes about 21.2 billion pairs. It's not 20 billion pairs. 2023 number is 21.2 billion pairs. It came down by 1.6 billion. 22.8 was last year, 2022. And we are the second largest consumer of footwear in the world. And our export focus is very little. Like Vietnam is a country where 110%, 100% of the production almost, that is the export orientation in Vietnam. And India, if you look at it, only 10% of our produce gets exported. 90% is consumed in-house. So we have a huge domestic opportunity in this country. And what is happening is the premierization. You must have heard this word, premierization, everywhere. It's happening in this country in the sense that people have better disposable income, like Sadiq pointed out, the IT guys looking at they all want to kind of, wear something different. I was involved when Ray-Ban was introduced in this country. I was working for Bosch & Lomb, the sister company. And at that point of time, 1,600 rupees sunglasses was a big Ray-Ban. The country did not know what is UV protection. I was talking about 1993, 94. And today you see eyewear market is completely changed. Even the apparel industry, today none of us go to a tailor to stitch. We all wear branded apparel. And worldwide, it's a documented thing. The footwear industry follows the apparel industry. The young consumers of this country, the discerning consumers of this country will demand brands. So more and more brands, today I was addressing some institutional investors about a week back. They wanted to know about the industry. And there are a lot of people who are willing to invest in brand side and in raw material ecosystem side. Because India lacks raw material ecosystem. That's what we lack. If we have that ecosystem in place, I think nobody can beat us. I'm not saying I worked in Thailand, I had worked in China, I had worked in Europe for many years, I had worked in Brazil also. I'm telling from my experience of all the places I had been working, I feel India has a phenomenal opportunity. I'm not saying just because I'm an Indian. I'm saying that there's a huge opportunity and we should not lose confidence in ourselves. We should be really little bold and then bring a lot of investments in. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. And because I think due to time limitation, last question. Yeah, please.
Hi, this is Sunil again. Sorry for, I have a couple of questions actually related to the same things. One thing that I wanted to know first, I think 5 to 6 years back, I heard the news about new food size re-evolution, because when I was working with Flipkart, I found that 20 to 8% of shipment gets returned every day, and that have around millions of dollars, because like Flipkart, Amazon, Myntra, there are a couple of other online, and everybody was struggling because of 15 to 20%. That was a size different, because each and every Indian leg size is very different food size, whereas still we are following US and UK size based. So when the system will come and reduce this return?
One thing I want to share my experience at Clarks. You're saying 15-16%, that's excellent. 27% used to be the returns on e-commerce.
Yeah, 20 to 28%.
15-16%, I am very happy. And the cost of returns is much higher than since you had worked in Flipkart, you will know that very well. The cost of returns is quite high. So in Clarks, we made a simple system whereby you try to give the consumer maximum information. When you do the sizes, UK size 8 you are saying, like 42 you are saying, you go into, and then it will talk about the length and the width and other thing. But today I am privy to an innovation in Germany where the name of the innovation is Match Fit. The name of the company is Match Fit. What it does is you take your picture, we introduced in Clarks in children's shoes. You take the picture of your feet and then you upload it into a website, and it synchronizes with the last, and it tells you the correct fit which you should order for a particular style, correct size and other things. So things are being developed. As a result in Clarks in that experiment, the children's shoe return, which used to be around 14-15%, went down to 6%. Even though they said 99%, it will get reduced, but it gets returned due to other color not okay, this not okay. I'm telling on account of most of the, if you kind of dissect and see, returns are on account of fit only, mainly. Definitely this Indian sizing system is something which will solve. But I think my advice would be to give as much. I have launched about 14 brands in Amazon as a private label play for them. And because most of they are marketplaces, they can't buy. They need to kind of be dependent on someone. We try to give them maximum information. Even now we are holding a return of 23-24%. I don't know how to reduce it, but that's what it is.
Pressure to stop. So sizing system. Can you?
He can interact with Akshay Raman.
Yeah. I think after, because we have to stop now because the permitted time is over. We can interact after this. So once again, thanks to all panelists. I think we had a wonderful session. Thanks Chandru sir and all the participants in online also. So I am sorry that I couldn't allow you to ask question because of the short of time. So thanks to CLRI for organizing such a venue for non-leather materials. I think first time in my knowledge, I think it is first time for this non-leather. I hope this will be a good start, and together we can take Indian footwear industry to the next level. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. And may I request our distinguished scientist, Dr. V. Chandrasekharan, to present away mementos to the panelists, please. And may I request the guests to come to the forefront for the memento presentation. So may I request sir to present away the memento to Mohan sir. To Shri V. Naushad sir, please. To Shri Sadiq sir. To Shri Yogendra Singh. To Shri Manimaran. To Shri Sahud. And to Dr. P. Tanigavelan at CSIR-CLRI. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us back at 3 o'clock for the Professor Y. Naidoma lecture by our DG CSIR, Dr. N. Kalai Selvi. Thank you so much.